Welcome back to another episode of the Petty Chevy build here on New Yankee Auto Systems. If you are a new viewer, I greatly appreciate you coming by. If you're not caught up yet, we do have 4 other episodes out. You can get caught up and see exactly what we're doing with our street legal Legends car. If you are a returning viewer, you'll know that last week we were working on brake lines. I think that we're going to continue working on the brake lines, but we do have some other things that we need to focus on as well. Brake lines are something I get particularly too over involved with, so I want to make sure that I'm not spending too much time on those things and focus on some of the things that actually matter to making this street legal. So what we've done is we've gone to our local big budget tool shop. I think you guys all know which one it is. They have these Road Shock LED floodlights. I've gotten 2 of those. Those are a 6-inch floodlight that I plan on using at the front of the car. As far as taillights, I don't necessarily have any kind of direction for that just yet. I'm looking around trying to find things that work. I don't know if I want to go with something that's more period correct. They do have replica lights that are made out of LED. I know that I want to go with LED on the car just to modernize it and so it's more visible. This is a very small car and I want to make sure that when we're driving it, you can see us on the road and that you know what our intentions are, brake lights, running lights, turn signals, all of that. So we're going to use LED for that. I did also buy a light bar wiring kit. This is going to be used so that I can use one power source and split the headlights. I don't know exactly how bright these are going to be. They say that they're 1050 lumens. That should be good enough for street use as far as I can tell. However, we are probably going to also have to add in a high beam function. I'll figure that out as I go along, but right now we're just going to kind of play around with things and see what works. Before we get too involved in our projects for the day, I just want to go through and kind of unbox everything. I haven't taken a look at them yet, but I just want to see what they have in there, see what they supply us. It does say that these come with a mounting kit, so hopefully we can do something to modify that and make it fit to our vehicle and our purpose. And then the headlight, or what we're going to use as a headlight, 6-inch. It's not very big. However, I don't want the headlights to protrude too much on this vehicle. I want them to be a little bit subtle because of the size of the vehicle. There's not something I'm going to be able to go with a regular sized headlight that's going to look well in this vehicle. I don't want to go with just the round, older style headlights. I want to modernize it a little bit. So we're going to take a look at these and see how well they work. Unboxing the wiring kit itself. Looking at this, this is the main harness. Really looks like it's got a lot of length to it. The reason why I did choose to go with these lights, I took a quick look at them online. They do have power and ground already in the harness. They already have a fuse in the harness, and they are already also supplied with I believe it's a 40 amp relay. And they also have built in a toggle rocker, whatever you want to call it. I'd call this a rocker switch, could be a toggle switch, built into the harness, so that way I won't have to wire anything else in. What I was planning on doing was getting a wiring harness, adding a whole additional wiring harness. However, given the additional things that I need to add to it, it seems like there may be a lot of dead harness in there if I go that route. So I may just do a power distribution block, hook that up to the battery, and then just wire it as I need to. I'll run the harness up somewhere where I can hard mount it. I'm probably going to have to build some brackets for that, but I'll be able to hardwire this harness in. This should connect to the other harness that's supplied with the lights, and then I'll have a splitter harness here that just runs and splits off from the one section and runs to each individual headlight. I think we're going to go ahead and get the battery mounted in the vehicle and then start laying out some of these light wiring harnesses just to see where we can add them. There is harnesses run down the drive shaft tunnel there, so that's probably going to be the best place to start. Right now I have the battery loosely installed in the vehicle. This is the hold down strap, and it looks like there is a distribution block of sorts already attached to it. That's a good place to start. The one thing that I do have is the quick disconnect here. I don't know exactly how I'm going to orient that on the battery at the moment. I was thinking somewhere along the lines of there. The issues that I'm running into are the way the distribution block is set up. There is power here and then power running off of it. So I'm going to work on how I'm going to lay these wires out. I do have other negative wires I still got to figure out. This wire does have to run up to an electrical disconnect on the vehicle. I don't know exactly which way I'm going to keep that. I'd prefer to have some kind of just push button and pull button style. Right now it's just a quarter turn or half turn style to get that disengaged, but I'll worry about that when I get to that point. Off camera, I'd gotten the quick disconnect cable set up and trimmed to my liking. I'd also made the negative cable connection. Here I was just attaching them so I could begin to start laying out my headlight harness. So I have the battery installed now, and I've got the kill switch loosely mounted for now. I don't know its final position. And I did also have the aftermarket lights or the off-road lights installed just to kind of check and see if this whole power circuit was good. What I've got is my positive quick disconnect here. My main ground there, as of right now, just kind of circles out this way to the kill switch. I know that the kill switch works because I use that to test the headlights. And then I've got the battery cable running back here to this junction. Well, my plan to route the headlight harnesses abruptly came to an end just because I got to this point trying to push wires past it, and I can't ignore this wiring harness right now. I have to, for my own sake, I have to go ahead and clean all this up first. Got a spade connector here with some crunchy wire here that I'm gonna have to repair. Then this wire looks like it's, I guess, a main feed wire to these accessories up front. One is that blower over there, and then one is for the oil cooler fan. But this is how they decided to connect it. They just used one big butt connector and tried to twist it together and then clamped them together. That is atrocious. I can't deal with that. I need to fix that. So I just spent probably the better part of 2 hours tidying up this wiring harness a bit. I added some nylon P-clamps in there just so the wires would sit a little better without everything being zip tied together. I do need to work on getting this generator or alternator wire better secured or better placed. However, that is tied in with this harness connector at the moment. So I'm gonna have to see if I can't just make a different connector for that generator, because it looks like there's the generator and then another wire that goes here. I could just make a different connector for it so it's separate. What I did focus the rest of my time on is getting this starter wire re-ran. It was not in the best position. It probably still isn't. This wiring here was just floating around, zip tied to the fuel line. I just took another P-clamp and put a bolt in this existing bolt hole. I reattached the ground here and this power wire. I put that inside of a wire loom and a heat shrink. I tied that heat shrink to the starter wire, and then I ran the rest of the power wire up through this heat shield. I brought it back over to where it originally was and connected it the same way that it was, but did a better job connecting it. There is a spade terminal connector here that I can just take that off if I need to take anything else off easily. Gave myself just a breaker point. I redid this ground wire here that basically was just about to pull out. I ended up putting some P-clamps on the fan as well, just to keep that wire in place. And then I also redid the connector for this blower fan here. As of right now, I'm not going to be disconnecting any of these items or taking them off completely. I'm just cleaning things up for right now. I'll stick to the modifications and updates later on. As of right now, I need to work on cleaning up things that I see that need to be fixed and have probably been neglected for a little while. I continue working on installing the headlight harness, making sure everything's as neat as I can possibly make it. However, this car doesn't leave me with a lot of options. I found a good spot here on the left side of the dash to install the headlight rocker switch. And the most rewarding part for me, we get to test our headlights. Thanks for watching. See you all next week.